Unfortunately, I have to cancel this evening's meeting. I truly apologize, but if anyone knows Rayford Road, it's a huge mess. They've actually blocked the road in front of our venue. So, for you new to Rayford Road, I don't want to have you come out and frustrate you because you can't find the place. I want to reschedule the meeting. Actually, we're doing this meeting every second Wednesday. So we're going to continue the conversation. And I say continue because I'm going to talk a little bit. I'm going to go briefly into the subject of investor financing. I'm sorry, owner financing, seller financing. And then we'll continue the conversation next month, second Wednesday in the month. And David Murphy, a real estate attorney, is going to elaborate on the legalities and keeping owner financing completely legal, so you can structure this type of deal and not worry about getting sued and things of that nature. So I say continuing the conversation because I'm going to touch a little bit about what we were going to talk about this evening. First off, let's talk about why owner financing is going to be pretty big in the market to come. One third of all homes in the United States are owned outright by their owners. And believe it or not, when the market starts to slow down, which right now it's not slowing down, it's on hyperspeed. In fact, let's touch bases on what's happening in the market right now. So in Texas, but I mean all over the country, uh, we're seeing a market that is, as far as sales prices, the highest it's ever been, even higher than the 2007 market. And the reason being is because there are not as many homes on the market. There's a slight housing shortage in the lower price ranges, so it's causing prices to go up. Now, the question I want to ask you is, do you see this continuing, and then how long? Because we've been at this high price peak market for, gosh, maybe 5 years now. In fact, this business cycle is the longest I've ever seen, and I've been through two business cycles in my real estate career. I've been in the business for almost 20 years. Now, what I mean by business cycle is, the definition of a business cycle is a cyclical expansion and contraction that we see about once a decade or so, and what we typically think of as basic economic fluctuations. Now, the business cycle usually lasts between 5 and 8 years. This business cycle is the longest in history. So when you think about a business cycle, you're thinking about the economy getting strong and then the economy getting weak. When I saw this chart originally, the cycle was about 130 months. This was about 6 months ago. So this cycle is over 11 years. Historically longest was the one previous, which was 128 months. Okay, and in that cycle, we saw economic growth, right? And then we saw prices get to a point that were unstable. Then the recession hit and everything slowed down. Now, I want you to notice one thing, that in most cycles, when you have high prices, they increase the rates to kind of slow down spending and increase savings. But in this cycle where we're at now, there are decreasing interest rates. Okay, let me give you another chart. This is the same kind of cycle, except it kind of describes what happens during a cycle around when you're going into the peak, which I believe that we are. We're at the peak of the cycle. There's a lot of new construction and there's declining vacancies, right? So have you ever tried to find a rental in this market? It's very tough. Also, again, there's multiple offers on properties in the lower price ranges. Now, in the upper price ranges, you're seeing a slowdown. Now, here's the thing. In the third phase of the cycle on this chart, you can see that there will be increasing vacancies, but new construction will still be happening because properties already bought, the money's already been borrowed. So the builders are going to continue to put homes on the market even though it's declining, which gives you huge opportunity as an investor. All right. Not only are you going to see new construction on the market that's not selling, but people are going to be selling, and then they're going to have trouble finding buyers. And most of them won't even be distressed because people will sell for different reasons, right? So they'll sell because they're going through a divorce, or they'll sell because they are moving jobs, or starting a new job and they're moving out of the city. And then some people just inherit property they don't want. So that is going to become a huge opportunity in the market to come. In this market, you're starting to see it's very hard to flip property because prices are so high. It's hard to purchase property low and then sell high. It's easy to sell it. It's just harder to find those opportunities. It's harder to wholesale in this market because the prices are so high. So I think that actually I know, because I've been through this cycle before, and you don't want to get caught off guard when the cycle changes. And that's what I want to discuss. What can you do when the cycle changes to take advantage of the opportunities? And one of those opportunities is going to be owner financing, wraparound mortgages, and land trusts. Okay. When we're talking about owner financing, let me break that down. And again, we're going to continue this conversation next month, second Wednesday, at the Hot Spot on Rayford Road. And I want to just break it down what seller financing, owner financing is. Okay, so you have seller A, buyer B. Seller A is selling the property for $200,000 to buyer B. But in this situation, buyer B is not going to get financing through a lender. What buyer B is going to do, and again, this is a negotiable. Everything what I'm going to talk about is negotiable. But what buyer B is going to do is they're going to put 10% down and pay a 5% interest rate. These numbers aren't accurate. I didn't even do the payments at 5%. I didn't calculate it. I just did this on the fly. But I just want to give you an example. So buyer B is agreeing to purchase a property from seller A for $200,000. They're going to put 10% down, and they're going to make this payment. Now, buyer B owns this property. They're paying the seller back, let's say, over 30 years. It's just as simple as that. No lenders involved. As long as you make your payments every month, the seller is going to be happy. Okay? You can refinance the seller off. You can get a new mortgage. You can do whatever you want. That's your property. You can rent the property out at this point. You might want to rent the property out for $1,500 a month, $1,600 a month. You can do that. And that's just typical buy and hold. Okay? The benefits of renting the property out, you're going to have appreciation. Right? You may have some write-offs. You're going to get cash flow. Okay? But the second option that you can do, and this is why we're going to have an attorney come out to discuss how you do this legally. Okay? You can sell this property to another buyer. Okay? We're going to call this buyer C. Right? So you can sell this property to buyer C for $220,000. Okay? You can collect 20% down. You can charge a higher interest rate, 7%. Hopefully this payment is not going to be $1,300. Hopefully this payment, let's say this payment is going to be like $1,600 per month, or even $1,700 per month. Again, I just do this together quickly, so I didn't do the calculation. But the concept is, you now owner finance it. You took the owner financing from seller A, and then you owner financed it to buyer C. Okay, and again, we're going to continue this conversation next month. But I wanted to give you something because I canceled the last second, so I wanted to give you guys something to think about. The concept, a strategy of how to take advantage in a market that's declining, because there's not going to be any wholesaling in the declining market. There's not going to be any flipping in the declining market. Believe me, there's just going to be buying and holding and creative financing. And this is a creative financing strategy that you're going to be able to use. Next month, second Wednesday, we're also going to have a CPA come out and talk about opportunity zones. Tax-free, a way of taking profits from a deal and investing it into opportunity zones and not paying capital gains tax. So that's another topic we're going to talk about second Wednesday at the Hot Spot. Thank you for joining my investor networking group. I look forward to seeing you. If you guys have any questions, please give me a call, 281-969-3817.